Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. This is what I have to put up with. I come out here trying to get the video done and everybody's here. Finally, peace and quiet. Hi there and welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd give a channel update of what's been going on. There's been quite a bit going on around me. Various things at work, and both this car here, the Twingo GT, and the Peugeot have been giving me both stress and financial pain. It's been pretty hard actually, having two cars out, both with major problems, both costing me an absolute fortune. So yeah, let's do an update about what's going on. So we'll start with the Twingo GT. I sent it in to my local garage and asked them to do a timing belt and a water pump on it, and I didn't know what state this was in. There was no service history about the timing belt and the water pump. So yeah, I sent it in, and that was mid-July. So a few days after I sent it in, I got a call to come and collect the car. Great, wonderful. And I got there, and there were some noises from under the engine bay, but I thought, okay, let's run it and let's see what happens. So I took it home, and I took it for a test drive, and I took it to Preston, from Manchester to Preston. The noises from the water pump area, from the timing belt area, were very loud. It was a high-pitched whine. So the next day I took it back to the garage and said, look, this doesn't sound right. It should be silent, or as very, very silent. So they agreed, they listened to it and said, yep, let's get that back in and replace those parts, and we'll do it under the parts warranty. So about a week later, I phoned up to find out what was going on. I hadn't heard what was happening to the car. And I was told that while up in the air, while the car was running and up in the air under test, the timing belt had come off. And the valves had hit the pistons, and the car engine had locked up. Okay. So where do we go from here? The garage fully admitted that it's their problem entirely. They weren't sure whether it was a mistake on their part or whether it was a faulty part. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Left it with them. So they're going to send the head off to be refurbished and come back. And I expected it to be about 3 or 4 weeks. It was probably about 6 weeks before I heard anything more. Cylinder bed had refurbished completely, various parts replaced, valves, valve guides, there was a whole bunch of stuff there, and the car was being put back together again. A week later I got a call saying the car is ready. So I took the car and I took it for another drive. So I took the car to Preston. And halfway there, I knew that there was a problem. There was very poor throttle response. You can put your foot all the way down and you might get something. If you took your foot off, there was no power at all. At idle, it was burbling away and it was misfiring. The engine was shaking. The ECU light was coming on and flashing, which on Renaults, that means that there's multiple misfires in all of the cylinders. And also the fuel economy was really poor. So I took it back to the garage again and said, no, there's something really not right here. And also there was lots of noises as well. The noises from the water pump, timing belt area, it was like I can't describe it as gobbling turkeys. It was a really weird noise, a repetitive gurgling. It's very odd, but yeah, it was just not right. So we're now 2 months into this whole process. The car is at the second garage, not the first garage, because the first garage have actually pushed it onto the second one and said, "Can you fix?" So I wasn't necessarily dealing with the first garage. I was back at the second. And at all times, both garages were really pleasant and nice, and they fully understood what was going on. They were really trying to help under difficult circumstances. So we had parts failures, potentially a fault with the way they put something in, and they were very happy to correct it. So there was no pushback, there was no difficulties in working with them to try to resolve. My only criticism was the communication, which just wasn't there. I never knew what was going on. So the car went away again, and it was with them for another 2 or 3 weeks. It came back, and it just wasn't right again. The water pump timing belt area was still making the noises. So I had to write a letter and send it registered post, and actually start thinking, well, what the hell am I doing here? We've done 4 attempts to try and sort this, and yeah, it failed. They damaged the engine. They've redone it again, the motor pump 3 times. So we're on the 5th attempt to try and fix this, and so I said, you've got to use Renault parts, you've got to use aftermarket parts, send it to Renault dealers, whatever you have to do, but it has to be the final fix. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to start solicitors, legal. It's just too much. This is ridiculous now. And again, they were very pleasant. The garage owner got in contact. He came round here, had a good listen to the engine, and agreed that yes, it was not right. The car got damaged in a few places where it had been parked under a tree and got dented. It was really difficult time. And also, I had the Peugeot as well, causing me problems. So the car was given back to them last week. Today is Thursday, so it was probably about this time last week, Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. And the owner of the garage and his tech actually did it themselves, and they took the old water pump off, and I've got it here, and the tensioner and the belt. They put them back in the box. They got Renault parts, and they put Renault parts on. Now, the previous water pumps have come from Gates and from Delco and from other aftermarket parts. And so yeah, I've got them here, and the bearings feel fine, but as soon as warm water got into these and these started to warm up, they started making noises, and it was really odd. Again, we thought it might be the tensioner bearing, but that feels fine. It even sounds fine, so I'm not sure whether it was that or not. The belt's brand new, so yeah, I don't think it was that. There was also another issue that actually the belt itself was actually touching the plastic cover, which made some squeaking noises as well. So yeah, the only thing I can think of is that as the metal warmed up inside the water pump, that the pressing on the bearing was too close to the faces of the actual water pump, and so it started scraping and causing these noises. That's the only thing I can think of, and certainly the owner as well. We were just thinking about it when I was picking up the car. So £800 into this car. I bought it for £1,200. I've probably spent another £400 on tyres and a few other bits and pieces. It came back with an airbag light and also an ABS light. I can fix those, that's fine. The sensors and the connections underneath the seats. And also it came back with the heater fan resistor pack actually had failed, so I've only got one speed now. So this car has been through the wars. I've been through the wars with it as well. It's been a really hard time. So the car drives fine. It's nice and silent. The engine's exactly how it should be. So the guys replaced the wishbones on either side as well. They didn't align it, so the car had wheels about like that. So I had to get that realigned, and that didn't work. So I had to take it somewhere else to get it realigned. So there's that, and there's still other issues and bits and pieces. But the car's back. It's working. It's driving quite well. It's got the power. It's silent in operation. That's all I wanted from this, was a timing belt done, and it just working. You know, timing belt and water pump working. So that's the state of play with Twingo GT here. The Peugeot. So this £160 car, well, it cost me in the end £160. This car has cost me about £2,000. So when I got the car, it was an absolute mess. You'll see some of the other stuff. It needed a bit of welding. It wasn't as bad as I first thought. So it's had new rear suspension, new rear dampers, front discs, both sides and pads, two new drive shafts seals for the gearbox, wishbones, the drop links from the suspension down to the wishbones, timing belt and water pump, and that lot cost me about £1,000, something like that. It's then had another load of work done to it as well recently, so we can engine mounts, lots of little things. It's also had a bunch of all of the rear pipes, brake pipes have been replaced. Yeah, there's a lot gone on to it. I've put a brand new interior, like seats into it, leather seats. That cost me the same price as I bought the car, which was £160. Yeah, it's still got faults. The indicators keep on switching off, and it turns the headlights on, and you tap the button, tap the indicators while they're running. The indicators stop while it's running, and they come back. So there's a fault in there. I think it's a dodgy solder joint. I can fix that. We had airbag light problems, ABS pump. The ABS pump had to be replaced. The Peugeot seemed to sneak in underneath there. It was cheap, but boy did it need some work to get it working. I've painted the roof. You might have seen that on my video. Okay, I've painted it rubbishly, and you would not believe the amount of hate I got for that respray job. And I said at the start, it was cheap, cheerful, just to make it look better. It wasn't about anything else, about making it perfect. And you wouldn't believe how many people contacted me, giving me a load of grief over that. It was horrible, even when I explicitly said it in the video. So you lot out there who are trolls, forget it. You comment on this video and you're nasty, your messages are being taken down. I'm not tolerating that. So all in between the two cars, it's about £4,000. So both cars are now very well sorted. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I think I'm certainly going to sell the Peugeot. I may sell this and buy something else. But I am not going down the route of buying another car and then spending thousands of pounds on it. Is it economically viable? Who knows? Considering the cost of new cars and the price of cars, actually, I think £4,000 for two cars isn't too bad. Is it worth what they're valued? This is worth about £1,500, maybe £1,500 to £1,800. I'm well into £2,000 into this already. The Peugeot, because there's so few of them left on the road, the 206 GTI, the 140s, I think it's about 450 left on UK roads. I think it's worth it because there's a lot of the ones out there are not particularly good either. They're all wearing badly, and it's a Peugeot. They go wrong. It's in its nature to go wrong. The Renault's far less so. These are a little bit more hard wearing. So I think I might keep this car, do some more work on it. The Peugeot will go and find a new home. I am going to lose money on it. I absolutely am going to lose money on it. But I think I'm going to lose less than you think. So, especially with all the work I've done on it, the fact that the car drives really, really well now. It is so well sorted. It's great. It's a good daily driver for somebody. And considering that cars are really expensive now, I think 1,500 quid for that, I think is not too bad. You can go and find one for 500 quid, but I can guarantee you're going to spend at least £1,000 trying to get it right. It's exactly what I've done here. So you can either buy one cheap, like I did, and spend a ton of money, or you can buy one for slightly less than a ton of money and know that you can actually just drive it. So the moral of the story is, if you buy a cheap car, expect to pay £500 to £1,000 on top to get it to a good state. It's really hard finding cheap cars where you actually don't have to spend any money. And even if the car is only worth maybe £1,000 and you buy it for £500, if you spend that £1,000 on it, you're going to get good value out of it and use it, which is sort of maybe what I might do with the Peugeot. I don't have that much space here now on my drive. I've got 4 cars and a motorbike, and one car has to stay out on the street. So what I might do is, again, sell the Peugeot, keep this, use a little bit of the money from the Peugeot to do a few more bits and pieces. The tyres I put on this, I got them cheap for 200 quid. Chinese junk, absolute Chinese junk. They are horrible. So I do need to replace those tyres. So you're going to see a bit more of the Peugeot on the channel, and also you're going to see a bit more of this, the Twingo GT, over the next few months. It's coming into the winter. I tend to hibernate during the winter, so you're going to see a few more videos, and it's going to go very quiet until about March. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.